Hello everyone, it is me, MrSneakyy, and today I'm going to give you some top tips on each of the elite raids, so stay tuned for more. Hello, so yes, we're going to be going over all the elite raids and give you all the tips, and all the secrets on how to basically complete them as best as you can. The reasoning why, obviously, if you're first in your server as an alliance and in the first 40 or 50, 60, 70 or 80 members, depending on the raid you're fighting in, you're gonna achieve one of these frames. As you can see, I'm able to get all of them so far. The only one we can't get as of this video recording, which is the 19th of Feb, the Necro Giant is still currently bugged. But the Magma Demon and Flame Dragon we've killed. It's just this Necro that's having a bit of a problem, but we're gonna have another attempt today, so we'll see how that goes. But this is basically obviously my credentials so far. If you're wondering what gives me the right to give you guys what my opinions are, but we do have all of them so far apart from the one that's bugged. So let's go over these elite raids, right? So I'm going to quickly give you all the top tips and what you want to bring, right? So these are elite raids. If you're wondering, you can go into your Behemoth menu and you can click around here and you can check all of them out. Match wise, if you're a free-to-play player, okay, so you have a few options. The best one, if you are willing, and this is one thing you guys need to learn, and I might be doing some videos in the future about this, but is if you want to become an archer player like myself, and you want to be one of those guys that's able to actually fight against the whales in the raid DPS meters because you understand mechanics and you're good at positioning and you're good at movement, then archers is a really top tier march, right? It is the best march at dealing damage in raids because of how much it just literally deals. It shits out damage, guys. I'm not even gonna lie, right? So as a free-to-play player, you can go into raids with a 5, 1, 1, and 1 Nico behind a Guanwin. And by doing this, you're gonna have an amazing march where Guanwin's the primary, and you're gonna have a talent tree on her that I'm gonna be doing videos on, so don't worry. If you're looking for videos on all the talent builds and stuff, I'm gonna be doing that again, so just stay tuned. But with a Guanwin primary and having your Nico behind her, it's going to be a great combo for free-to-play players. But obviously, you might not have this combo. But another combo you can run is Guanwin with the amazing Craig. The thing is, Craig, a lot of people might underestimate him because Craig doesn't really say he deals much damage, right? But the thing is, with Craig, he gives you a 10% hero skill damage bonus, as well as march speed, and he gives you some 10 stats for attack, which is even more damage for rage, which is more relevant. But the cool thing with Craig, when you expertise him, the actual awakening of his skill is so insane with the amount of damage, plus the bleed on top, with obviously the synergy of Guanwin and her expertise. It's like almost having two of the same, and you're scaling them up with the 15% hero skill damage, so it's a great free-to-play combo as well. So you'd be surprised how much DPS you can deal with a Guanwin and Craig. So if you're looking for mages, obviously the best one is Waldir with your Atheist for raiding. This is only because you want to be dealing as much single target DPS as possible. Atheist does give you the most single target damage with an insane rage generator and a nice little bit of health to get you in and out. But the cool thing is the march speed and damage taken. You'll be surprised how much march speed you're going to need, especially when you're in like the Flame Dragon raid, or when you're in the Magma raid, or when you're in the Hydra raid, or the Necro raid. You need movement to keep getting the mechanics done as an alliance, right? So they're my options. Obviously, if you're a whale or if you're a spender and you have Lilia, obviously you're going to be rocking Lilia as your primary with your Waldeer. I'm not going to go over talents, but if you're going for tanks, the main tank role has always been a Garwood primary with Madeline behind. The only reason a lot of the main tanks, especially like Meat, who is one of the best tanks we've had in TA for a long time, I've ever seen such a great tank player, honestly, in himself. He always runs the Garwood primary because he wants the heal to hit the march first, and then once the heal hits the march, then it gives Madeline a bigger shield, and allowing having a bigger shield for him is more important. So we'll see, you know, how that goes. Obviously you can rock either one. I think it's down to preference personally, but that is all the, you know, shenanigans of that, of raiding pairings and what you want to realistically bring. If you enjoy that, you know, obviously hit the subscribe button, like, and comment, guys. We're almost through the video. It's halfway, but these are the basically top tips to worry about when you're playing these raids. So the Giant Bear is the same tip as Dire Bear, so we'll go through those two together. So obviously you want to complete it within 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Really easy to do for your very first run. It's just having all your damage guys on, especially. You'll get this first time, no problem. The only thing you need to do with the bear raids is dodge those charges, guys. It's so important. You know, if you don't dodge the charge, the bear is going to be at full power all the time. But if you dodge the charge and you're able to move just a little bit, it doesn't even take it's not even that hard to do, guys, you know. Just move to the left or right, and if you dodge it, he hits the wall and he stuns himself and he reduces his defense by a certain percent over so much. So for this, it's very key, especially when you do it against the Dire Bear, because obviously the Dire Bear will be doing poison trails at the same time, right? And the Dire Bear has a 6 minute and a 30 timer, right? So that's the two bears. If you're looking for how to complete them, I've obviously got the raid guides on my channel. Check the playlists out, and that's all the raids themselves. But the time side of 6 minutes 30 is again a DPS check and understanding you know the mechanics and can dodge those nasty charges so you can get the damage buff, right? So now we're going to go over the Giant. Giant's again a very easy raid, and so is the Thunder Rock. The only thing you need to be careful with the Giant is obviously making sure you kill those pesky shamans as fast as quickly as possible, because if you don't, it's obviously reducing that timer, and you want to get a time of 6 minutes and 30 to unlock the Giant one. It's a really cool little cute one, to be fair, for the Giant. I do enjoy it. And yeah, you just need to kill those shamans. The quicker you kill them shamans, the quicker you're going to be able to go back into DPSing. And then it's this again, a very relatively easy raid. Here you want to be bringing more magical units, but if you've got archers are okay still. But generally you want to be bringing mages, because mages deal more damage to the Giant than any other sort of class of unit. So when we go to the Thunder Rock, the big tip again, understand the mechanic of the balls, guys. If you are not paying attention when you're doing the Thunder Rock and you see those two red balls moving, and you see someone on your team with the big AoE red circle mark on them and they're in the water, you best get away, because they're about to wipe everyone in your raid. So if you've got the mark, make sure you stay central and you're not in water, right? The time for the Thunder Rock is a 6 minute 30 timer. You can bring any march in here. I brought my archers and able to, I think, rank 7 in DPS. So then we have the Hydra. And Hydra is one of the hardest raids to do so far out of all of them. It does require full team coordination. So the big tip obviously for that Hydra, as we look at the beautiful frame, because I do think this frame is beautiful, it's one of the better ones, I think, having all of the 3 little heads on the top, and obviously you can see your portrait really nicely in this one. It's not obscure, so it's great. But the big tip for the Hydra raid, guys, is You understand when you click on the little icon, there is a 20% less damage buff to all range units. So if you're bringing mages or archers, which is what everyone does bring, and you should still bring those units, you're able to kill it still, as we can see in all of our videos I've done so far on it. But the thing you need to do while you're in this raid is get the stones. And when I mean get the stones, I don't just mean get the healing stones, because everyone prioritizes always the healing, and you need to heal. Don't get me wrong, guys, you need to get those healing stones off as fast as possible, because the faster you can heal is the faster you can go into DPS, and that is where you make your time. But you need to get the red stones too. The reason is he drops, or the Hydra, he, she, you know, it drops 5 of these stones periodically every time in the fight. And every time it drops one, if you don't claim it, it applies a stack of poison. Meaning, if you don't claim any of them, you will apply 5 stacks of poison on your entire raid. Meaning that you might die randomly out of nowhere, because the poison all stacks will start kicking in, and then you'll just start dropping dead, right? And every time you die, you're gonna heal it. So that is one thing you just cannot do in this raid. So you need to claim those red stones. The thing with those red stones as well, just to give you guys more who love DPSing, who love to get those big numbers and try and hit rank 1 DPS and beat those whales, right? Every time you claim a red stone in the Hydra raid, it gives you a 25% damage buff, guys. So it negates this buff, and you're doing 5% more than anyone in the lobby. So you are able to do some ridiculous things, and I'll have some right towards the end of the video, some nice little reports that I've got saved from doing these raids, as you can all see. But then, like I said, we've done the Dire Bear, but that is the Hydra covered, guys. Is again, just to put it in perspective, a 6-minute 30 timer. This is one of the harder ones to do at the moment, but it is a really fun one to do when you get it done, right? Because it's so satisfying when you get it done. The Necro Giant is currently bugged, so we're unable to do it. But as with anything with the Necro Giant, the best thing to do is, if they fix the bug, obviously bring your archer units. But the number one key element with the Necro Giant is to be able to understand where to stand in position in mechanics. You're able to dodge a lot of damage and a lot of mechanics by standing in a lot of safe zones in the game. So if you check my videos out, you'll see there's plenty to go. So that is basically the tip, you know, just understand where you can stand, because the sooner you can stand there and not having to pay attention, it means as soon as the Necro Giant's phase is done, obviously you're able to go straight in DPS, right? And there's no time wasting. So that is the biggie for the Necro. So now we're on to the last 2. So when we get to these last 2, obviously these are the coolest, and I love the Magma one and obviously the Flame Dragon one, so I'll show you guys what they'll both look like as well. But hit the comments, subscribe, and like. We're almost at the end of the video, guys. I do want to get the subscribers up, and obviously from when I've checked, I have about 30% of you subscribed, so 70% of you that do come on the channel and do enjoy this content aren't subscribed. So I don't know what you're doing. It's free. It just takes 2 seconds just to hit the red button below, and it would honestly help the channel out massively. So when we go into now the final 2 raids, the Magma Demon, right? So the Magma Demon raid is very easy, I'm not gonna lie. If you're able to kill the Magma Demon normally as a server with relatively ease, you're gonna kill the Elite raid just as easily. The big tip for this though is on your rotation, instead of rotating on 3 stacks of the fire emblems that you get from each of the demons, you want to be rotating on the second, because as soon as you get the third one, you start taking so much damage again, because they deal 50% more damage, and you don't want to be taking any. So if you're at 2 stacks, you'll realize your defense is strong enough not to take any, and it just means you're rotating around quicker, and they obviously are going to be dropping down just as fast as well. So I hope you guys remember that. keep the stacks at 2 and move, and then keep DPSing around, right? Take your time, kill one at a time. Don't go nuking and one and then nuke the next, you know. It's all about the pace and killing them and spreading the DPS equally between all 3, right? So now we're on the Flame Dragon. And this one again, I'm not gonna lie guys, this one again is currently quite easy, just because of the foolproof way of doing it, right? So the foolproof way of killing the Flame Dragon is bringing your recommended amount of tanks, which I think is about 6 or 7, and then when you bring those 6 or 7, everyone else is bringing mage, and you just simply outrange the Flame Dragon. So even those guys that don't understand mechanics and are really bad at movement, even those guys won't have a problem being able to be at maximum range and stood still dealing damage, right? So that is the big tip for the Flame Dragon. But if you're an archer player and you're looking for solid advice on how to get better, I'm not gonna lie, check out my TA video guide. I'll put again the video in the description. That will show you in the timestamps the actual Flame Dragon fight and how to use it an archer march like myself to dodge all the same mechanics for 6 minutes straight, right? And you need to dodge it for 8 minutes, and it's just again the same for the last 2. Obviously I didn't let it go on, otherwise the video drags. But as you will see, it is so simple to do, and it just requires a little bit more activity on your end, right? So you need to kill the Flame Dragon in the required time of 8 minutes. And you need to do the same for the Magma Dragon raid, right guys? So that is all of the raids covered. Over 1 extra tips on what you need to be focusing on mainly when you're doing those raids. Obviously I've got videos on each of the kills, so do check that out on the channel. And just before we end up, as promised, for those guys that did make it all the way to the end and want to see some of these, as you can see, these are my saved portraits that I've saved over, and some of the reports, right? So these are the failed attempts, or as you can see, when we were trying to do it. But as you will see, I am ranked 7 in DPS, and this is just because I understand the mechanics on the raid. Again, when you look at this other Hydra attempt, you'll be surprised to see I did rank 4 damage. It was obscene. I was able to almost compete with all the 20-30 million power plus whales, right? And I'm only at 15 million power. So this just gives you guys, hopefully, those free-to-play players, some hope that if you are able to play the mechanics correctly, and you're able to understand the gameplay mechanics, and you're good at doing all that, you're gonna be able to match that DPS, because it does require a little bit of skill, you know. So that is the video. That is all the elite raid frames what I've got so far, barring the Necro Giant bug. But obviously we're going to be claiming that too, so stay tuned on the channel for that video. But that is me all the way done, all the tips covered, all the frames and requirements you need, as well as at the beginning some little tips obviously on what to bring. So I hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like, comment and subscribe, guys. It is such a great service for you to get to do it for me, and obviously we're going to grow as a community. Discord is in the link as well in the description below, so check out the Discord, join, become the roles, link your YouTube account to the Discord for the subscriber role, all that shaz. So that is me, not going to drag it out any longer. I enjoyed it, I hope you enjoyed it, and that is me. See you in the next video. Peace out.